Martin's back in London to see if he can find out more about what caused the deaths of Ada and Richards' children. He's managed to find some documents to help him in his investigation.
I have death certificates for 4 of their children. I can't really make out the cause of deaths on them. I mean, even if I could, I probably wouldn't quite understand the words themselves. So I'm going to go and speak to somebody who can help me with those. I'm going to speak to a doctor now.
Martin's come to Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital to meet paediatric consultant Dr. Vaz Novelli to find out why by 1911 6 of Ada and Richards' 12 children had died.
Some certificates here. We've managed to track down 4 of them. These are them, I think, chronological
right.
order.
The infant mortality rate around that time would be around 15–20%. I would expect 1 in 5 to 1 in 6 children die, not 50%.
Yeah.
So that is unusual.
So this is Alice.
This is the first one that died.
This is the first one who died, apparently. Yeah.
So that was 902 and aged 2 months.
Yeah.
Right. And with the cause of death, inanition and syncope. I mean, inanition is not a term we tend to use today.
No.
It basically means failure to thrive. So that was the first one, and then
That's
you've
the first
got.
one. Then this is Hilda.
She died in 1904.
I don't know what that says.
So that just says premature birth. This is the third
This
one.
here is Donald Walter.
That's marasmus. That's just the same as inanition in a way. It means lack of. Basically, a child who's not thriving, who's losing weight as such. So this is the fourth one.
Well, this is Arthur.
Right. So he was
3 hours.
3 hours. That's and it's also inanition, and I think putting the 4 together.
Yeah.
Looking at these, I think there's an underlying process which led to these infants not thriving and not being able to suckle properly and not putting weight on and dying in those first couple of months. So then you say, well, what could be the cause of this? Congenital abnormalities, cardiac defects, renal defects. You wouldn't expect 4 in a row or 5 in a row to have that.
No.
Could it be genetic? Genetic, metabolic? Possibly. You'd expect a 1 in 4 involvement in that situation. But this doesn't appear to be cholera or typhoid. They would have recognised that. The other common infections would be whooping cough. They'd recognise that. Measles. They'd recognise that. Diphtheria, upper airways obstruction with diphtheria. They'd recognise that. The sort of infections that would be more difficult to pick up would be something like tuberculosis. It looks like your great grandma seemed to be pretty good nick.
Yeah.
So she doesn't sound like she had, consumption. One other thing that probably needs to be considered would be something like syphilis, congenital syphilis. Congenital syphilis is very, very common in this area. I think that's a possibility. I think I've seen congenital syphilis about 2 cases in the last 5 years. It's very, very unusual. I'm not the best expert in that area. I think the best person for you to talk to next would be a sexual health expert.
Really? Okay. Now I'm getting pretty sure that syphilis played a part in it. Of course I'm curious about that. It's more surprising when you've been finding out very family stuff about these people, especially about Ada. The fact she was this strong, matriarchal, very upright, talented woman who outlived everybody, Again, because I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I don't know if you can have syphilis and live that long. I don't know. And not show symptoms of it. That maybe you just pass them on to... You pass those symptoms on to children, but why didn't she pass them on to the ones that survived? And how did she live to be 90-odd? In really good health, I'm immediately curious about the children who've died. Because even when people say, well, there was a higher infant mortality rate, there's no way that can't kill you as a parent. To happen 6 times.
And then this birth certificate, that they had a daughter called Emily Cecilia.
Cecilia, lovely.